The death of Nelson Mandela has reminded us of the anti-apartheid movement. And so for this week's podcastinenglish.com business podcast, we look at the question of boycotts.
I didn't realise, Richard, that the anti-apartheid movement was originally known as the boycott movement. And it was all about boycotting.
Yes. Julius Nyerere, the first president of Tanzania, summarised its purpose as, we're not asking you, the British people, for anything special. We are just asking you to withdraw your support from apartheid by not buying South African goods.
So it was a very simple request.
Yes, I remember it well, actually, when I was at university in the early 80s, that there's a big campaign to stop people opening accounts with Barclays Bank. And actually, within 2 years of the students boycotting Barclays Bank, their student market dropped by 10%, which was a huge amount. And in fact, resulting in Barclays pulling out of South Africa in 1986.
Yes, Richard, it was the first campaign to succeed in encouraging individuals to connect their purchasing power with international politics. For me, I remember not buying South African oranges and wine.
But it also saw, in the 1980s, Western nations, including the US especially, get involved in the disinvestment campaign.
Disinvestment?
Yes, well, what they initially did, the US government, was encouraging their government pension funds to sell stock holdings in companies which had dealings with South Africa.
So what effect would that have?
These companies couldn't invest in South Africa. It caused capital flight.
Hold on. Capital flight?
It's basically assets and money flowing out of the country. And also this capital flight triggered a decline in the exchange rate of the South African currency, the rand, and that in turn made imports into South Africa very expensive, and that resulted in high inflation.
Wow, so it was a real domino effect then.
Yes.
So, it started off as an individual consumer boycott, and then, over the decades, became an international economic boycott.
Yes. Not everyone was happy, though, of course, because it affected the economy of South Africa. Lots of people struggled. The government, yes. The apartheid movement, yes. But also the normal people, including the black people that it was supposed to support.
Yeah. So that was really the first big boycott campaign, successful boycott campaign. But in recent years, boycotts have affected many products, haven't they?
The fur trade, for a start.
The sale of bluefin tuna.
Yeah.
It's also affected companies.
Oil companies, especially.
And, of course, other countries.
Yes, there's still a big boycott on Cuba, Israel.
By the US.
Israel.
Not by the US.
And Iran.
Yes, exactly. So what about you, the listeners? Do you believe in boycotts? Have you been involved in any?
Or has your company been targeted? We'd love to hear from you.